On May 11, 2022, in Austin, Texas, 25-year-old professional cyclist Anna Moriah Wilson was found dead, shot multiple times in a friend's bathroom. Known for her extraordinary talent and ambition in competitive cycling, Moriah's murder sent shockwaves through the cycling community and beyond. As investigators dug deeper, a tangled story of jealousy, obsession, and betrayal emerged, leading to a nationwide manhunt for the prime suspect. This is the story of Moriah Wilson's life, the shocking events that led to her murder, and the pursuit of the killer who tried to disappear. Moriah Wilson was a name well known in the elite cycling world. Born in Vermont, she came from a family of athletes and was described as driven, focused, and deeply kind. Nicknamed Mo by friends, she excelled at gravel racing and mountain biking, quickly climbing the ranks of the sport. By 2022, Moriah was on her way to becoming a dominant figure in cycling, earning accolades and sponsors that recognized her immense potential. On the surface, her life seemed picture perfect. She traveled the country for races, built a loyal community of friends and supporters, and was set to compete in the Gravel Locos race in Hico, Texas, just days after her death. However, unbeknownst to many, her personal life had unwittingly placed her in the middle of a dangerous love triangle that would end in tragedy. On the evening of May 11, 2022, Moriah Wilson arrived at the home of her friend Caitlin Cash in a quiet residential neighborhood of East Austin, Texas. The area, typically peaceful, was lined with modest houses and shaded streets, an ideal spot for Moriah to unwind and rest before her upcoming cycling race. She had been traveling frequently for competitions, and this visit offered her a rare moment to recharge. That day, Moriah had spent time with Colin Strickland, a fellow professional cyclist with whom she shared a mutual respect and friendship. Months earlier, during a brief separation from his on-and-off girlfriend, Caitlin Armstrong, Colin and Moriah had shared a romantic connection. Though the relationship had since ended, Colin and Moriah remained friends, and their bond was innocent. After their casual meetup, Colin drove Moriah back to Caitlin's house in his black SUV. At approximately 8:30 p.m., Colin's vehicle pulled into the driveway. Moriah, wearing casual athletic clothes, stepped out of the car. Surveillance cameras from a nearby residence captured her entering the home. Her body language appeared relaxed. Her pace was steady as she disappeared behind the front door. Inside, Moriah settled in, unaware that danger was just beyond the shadows. Outside, in the stillness of the evening, someone was waiting. The air carried a quiet tension that no one on the street could have known. A black Jeep Grand Cherokee, its dark exterior blending into the night, idled quietly nearby. The vehicle, parked at an unassuming distance, seemed insignificant to anyone passing by, but it wasn't. At that moment, a predator watched Moriah's every move. Inside the vehicle sat Caitlin Armstrong, her hands clenched around the steering wheel. Her jealousy and rage had festered for months, and now they consumed her. In the dim light, Caitlin's eyes fixated on Caitlin's house, her thoughts spiraling with anger toward Moriah. To her, Moriah represented betrayal, competition, and the end of everything she thought she had with Colin. Just hours later, Caitlin Cash returned home to a horrifying scene. Moriah was found lying on the bathroom floor, covered in blood, with multiple gunshot wounds. Frantic, Caitlin called 911, but it was too late. Moriah Wilson was pronounced dead at the scene.
Austin police say that night, 25-year-old Wilson was found murdered in the bathroom of a friend's home. She was shot multiple times.
The calm streets of East Austin became the epicenter of a brutal murder investigation that left more questions than answers. The Austin Police Department immediately began piecing together Moriah's final hours. Witness interviews, security footage, and forensic evidence revealed a disturbing series of events. Investigators learned of Moriah's recent meeting with Colin Strickland and discovered that Colin's girlfriend, Caitlin Armstrong, had a long history of jealousy toward Moriah. Colin admitted to police that he and Moriah had been romantically involved while he and Caitlin were briefly separated. Although Colin claimed his relationship with Moriah had ended, Caitlin's suspicion and obsession had continued to fester. Police uncovered text messages and stories from friends indicating that Caitlin felt threatened by Moriah's presence, reportedly saying, "I want to kill her," months before the murder. As the evidence mounted, detectives identified Caitlin Armstrong as their prime suspect. Surveillance footage from the area showed Caitlin's black Jeep Grand Cherokee near Caitlin Cash's house around the time of the murder. Forensic analysis later matched shell casings found at the crime scene to a firearm registered to Caitlin, which Colin admitted he had recently purchased. Realizing the gravity of the case, Austin police quickly brought Caitlin Armstrong in for questioning. Detectives confronted her with mounting evidence, including surveillance footage of her black Jeep Grand Cherokee near the crime scene and witness accounts that placed her in the area. During the interrogation, Caitlin sat calm and expressionless, offering little more than vague answers to direct questions. Investigators noticed her demeanor was unsettling, almost calculated, but they were confident that the case against her was building. However, a critical mistake occurred during the process. Due to a clerical error, a miscommunication regarding a federal warrant, police were forced to release Caitlin after the brief interview. It was a devastating oversight. The moment Caitlin walked out of the station, she vanished, leaving authorities scrambling to correct their mistake. What followed was a massive nationwide manhunt. The case had now escalated beyond Austin, with the U.S. Marshals Service and local law enforcement agencies working together to locate Caitlin before she could disappear for good. But Caitlin, cunning and resourceful, seemed to have anticipated her escape. Within days, investigators discovered that she had sold her black Jeep Grand Cherokee, the very vehicle that tied her to the crime scene, for $12,000 in cash. This hasty transaction, completed just one day after Moriah's murder, provided her with enough money to fund her disappearance. Caitlin's next move stunned investigators. Surveillance footage from Austin Bergstrom International Airport revealed her next steps. She had boarded a flight to Newark, New Jersey before catching a connecting flight out of the country. In a brazen and premeditated act, Caitlin had used her sister's passport to bypass airport security, a move that allowed her to slip through unnoticed. From Newark, she fled to Costa Rica, a country known for its lush jungles, remote beaches, and relative ease of blending in with the tourist crowd. Investigators later determined that Caitlin had deliberately chosen Costa Rica as her destination, knowing it would be difficult to locate her in the coastal towns teeming with travelers. Once in Costa Rica, Caitlin didn't simply hide. She transformed. Determined to evade capture, she cut and dyed her hair, reportedly changing its color to a dark brown. Her appearance was further altered through what witnesses later described as cosmetic surgery on her face, likely to change her nose and jawline. To support herself, Caitlin adopted new aliases, posing as a yoga instructor and staying at low-cost hostels in the beachside town of Santa Teresa, a popular destination for backpackers and expats. The natural beauty and anonymity of the area gave Caitlin the perfect cover as she integrated into the local community. Meanwhile, back in the United States, investigators ramped up their efforts. The U.S. Marshals Service deployed a range of tactics. The pressure was mounting, and the manhunt became one of the most widely publicized pursuits of the year. As the search continued, Caitlin's image was plastered across news stations, newspapers, and online forums, with rewards offered for information leading to her arrest. The breakthrough came when the U.S. Marshals devised a clever strategy. They placed targeted ads for yoga instructors on social media platforms, specifically in the areas Caitlin was believed to be hiding. Costa Rica, with its yoga retreats and backpacker culture, was the perfect setting for someone like Caitlin to blend in. The ads quickly caught the attention of locals in the coastal town of Santa Teresa, a bustling beachside community popular with expats and tourists. On June 29, 2022, after 43 days on the run, authorities finally located Caitlin at a hostel in Santa Teresa. She was living under an alias, posing as a yoga teacher, and had dramatically changed her appearance. Despite her efforts to disappear, the targeted operation paid off, leading to her swift arrest. Caitlin was taken into custody without incident, bringing her months-long plot of evasion to an abrupt end. Caitlin Armstrong's trial began in late 2023, captivating national attention.
Testifying in the sentencing phase about the impact of her daughter's death.
When you shot Moriah in the heart, you shot me in my heart.
In a trial that lasted for 3 weeks, state prosecutors painted a disturbing portrait of Armstrong, who shot Wilson in the head and chest in a jealous rage in May of 2022.
Last thing Mo did on this earth was scream in terror. Those screams were followed by, ah, ah,
Armstrong's vehicle was...
Prosecutors painted a damning picture of Caitlin's jealousy and premeditation. They argued that Caitlin had become fixated on Moriah, seeing her as a threat to her relationship with Colin. Witnesses testified to Caitlin's obsessive behavior, recounting her repeated accusations and threats toward Moriah. The forensic evidence was overwhelming. Ballistic tests matched the shell casings from the crime scene to the firearm registered to Caitlin. Surveillance footage placed Caitlin's vehicle near the scene of the murder, and cell phone data confirmed her proximity to Moriah that night. Caitlin's defense team attempted to challenge the investigation, arguing that her interrogation had been mishandled and that the evidence was circumstantial. The jury found the case against Caitlin irrefutable. On November 16, 2023, Caitlin Armstrong was found guilty of first-degree murder. She was sentenced to 90 years in prison. With parole eligibility after 30 years, Moriah Wilson's death sent shockwaves through the cycling community and beyond. Friends, family, and fans mourned the loss of a young woman with extraordinary talent and a bright future. Her family described her as a kind soul who touched the lives of everyone she met, emphasizing her work ethic, warmth, and unwavering determination. On May 6, 2024, Wilson's parents filed a civil wrongful death lawsuit against Armstrong, seeking $1 million in damages, but they will ultimately ask that a jury determine the full value and extent of damages. The compensation will cover burial and funeral expenses, as well as emotional damages they suffered as a result of Wilson's death. The lawsuit will also prevent Armstrong from profiting financially from her crime. On June 17, 2024, the judge ordered Armstrong to pay $15 million to the Wilson family. The murder of Moriah Wilson is a stark reminder of the destructive power of jealousy and obsession. What began as a promising career and vibrant life was cut short in a moment of senseless violence. The case also highlights the determination of law enforcement to bring justice to victims and their families, even when suspects go to extraordinary lengths to escape. As the cycling world continues to remember Moriah for her talent and spirit, her story serves as both a tragedy and a call for justice. Her loved ones carry on her legacy, ensuring that her light shines through the lives she touched.